Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
Behold the power of magnetism. What would your finishing maneuver be called?
The circumcision.
Follow the process.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, the wrestling podcast where we review every segment of Raw and give you guys the wrestling news of the week, of which there is little of anyway, but lots of other segments.
None.
My name, if you're asking, is Turbo Tony, and when I say Matt, you say oh, Matt.
Oh?
Matt.
Oh.
That's really all I got. The Uso's got nothing else, so.
That's about it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Matt Marsander here with us, guys. How are you doing this week, Matt?
Yeah, can't really complain.
Yeah.
It's all set. 2 weeks from the holiday, so big.
Yes, that's actually news. We need to talk about that at the end of the podcast to let people know what's going on. There may be a time where Matt is not with us for a little while, but we'll get into that. But you're with us this week, and that's all that matters.
That's it. I'm still here, so far.
Yeah, that's it. We can hear your liquid, sexy voice this week talking about the fallout from SummerSlam, which we reviewed throughout the week on our extra episode that we did. You guys really supported that. Thank you very much. We just checked that just before we came on recording, and you guys are supporting us great. We're getting new subscribers all the time. To the guys watching this that are just about to subscribe, come along for the ride. It's good fun. We have here, and we're having the two segments that you guys went apeshit for a couple of weeks ago. This week we've got the fail of the week, and we've got we were wrong, we were damn wrong. We're going to be talking about the Cesaro Heyman pairing, and how we were wrong, essentially, about that.
Totally.
We'll play back a clip from there. As always, you can follow us on @TalkWrestlePod. Matt was actually live tweeting throughout the entirety of SummerSlam, so that's always good stuff. If you want to ask us any questions, that's the best place to do it. That's the easiest place to do it. Or you can leave a comment there. We are. If your question's good enough, it may get featured on the podcast, so good stuff there. So, let's get into the news. As I said there before, there is very little news this week. It's another slow week, unfortunately. But still, it's a little bit to talk about. And big news in regards to TNA. Bully Ray has reportedly stated to the locker room that he has worked his last date with the company. Now, this is big news. Horrendous news, if true, for TNA. Bully Ray is a huge cog in that company, not only in the ring, but also out of it. Apparently, he works in a sort of a merge of an agent role. Apparently, he's one of the big morale boosters in the locker room with these guys. Whenever bad news comes along, he's the one to settle them down. And you know, in the ring as well, he was involved in one of their biggest storylines that's going on at the moment, which has recently ended, which is the whole Dixie Carter storyline. So for him to say, "I'm bugging out, I'm done with this," is horrendous news for TNA.
Especially considering it's sort of like he's one of the originals as well, to sort of for when TNA really picked up.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, there's a few wrestlers that have gone from WWE to TNA, and they've now spent longer in TNA than they ever did in WWE. Billy Ray is almost one of those guys that he's spent so much time with that
Surely
company.
He must be by now.
Yeah, must be. He's been in there for a very long time. What makes this very awkward is that if this is true and he is going and he hasn't been able to get a contract with TNA, to get the payment that he thinks he's due, or maybe he just wants to leave for personal reasons. We don't know yet. He's actually supposed to be entering the Hall of Fame in literally in about a month. So the fact is that if he's leaving the company and yet they're supposed to be inducting him and Devon into the Hall of Fame, that's going to make things a bit awkward if the guy's just left the company. I don't understand why they would let Bully Ray get this close to out of his contract and not re-sign the guy. Make all the effort you can if you were really, or maybe the whole Hall of Fame thing was something to try and keep him with the company, and even that hasn't worked. Maybe that's the case as well. Now, you don't watch too much TNA.
Not a great deal, no.
No, which is probably for the better for yourself anyway. And we've said before that I want to switch to doing NXT reviews because NXT is a much better show. But if he is leaving, it is a massive blow for the company, especially as they are going on. They are, in terms of quality, they have been increasing. It's been a much more bearable show the last couple of weeks than it has been since I started watching it, at very least. So if he is gone, that's a huge loss, and TNA needs to look at the way that they deal with these guys' contracts. For anyone that's wondering as well, maybe is he doing what the Kurt Angle thing where he's trying to itch for a return back to WWE? I firmly believe that WWE probably won't take him.
I think they've got no need to bring him in as a talent.
No.
I think if they were to bring him back into the WWE, then he'll be a sort of like a trainer.
Yeah.
Or is just an agent from out the back.
Yeah. I mean, how many times over the last 8 to 10 episodes, have we revealed someone being released from the company because of cost cutting and budget cuts?
Yeah.
They're not going to be hiring people, unfortunately, like Billy Ray anytime soon. Even though he would be a great agent for them, and he would be a great person to teach these younger guys how to do good promos, because he's probably one of the better promo guys in TNA. WWE do not want to be adding more stuff onto their books. They're looking to decrease that. So him coming to WWE, I think, is heavily unlikely. Still a chance, of course, that he could. I just don't see it happening myself. So, don't know whether you caught this, Matt. Next piece of news: Hogan is being a bit of a dipshit. Hulk Hogan.
I have not seen this.
He has decided, all this talk around, that he wants to do one last match, even though he hasn't been in a condition to wrestle a match for years,
Oh yeah.
The guy wouldn't be able to take a bump without breaking his back. He's not in the greatest of shape, shall we say, Hulk Hogan, no matter how much he trains. And obviously that's down to just wrestling as long as he has. And that leg drop, funny enough, that is his finisher, is actually the thing that's wrecked his body, which I think is quite funny. You think of all the people that maybe he could have a match. Let's say WWE decides to let him have a match with someone. You could have it with someone really safe. You could have it with someone that's going to take good care of him. Maybe like a Heath Slater, maybe, if it's just a cheap gimmick match for Hogan, or if it's going to be a big marquee match, you can have it with John Cena, who can, do all the bumping for the guy.
Just carry.
Yeah, exactly thing. Hogan has decided that he's going to pick a fight with Brock Lesnar.
Ah, yes, I have seen this.
Hogan is a dipshit. I'm going to say that right now. Why in the world would you want to have a match with Brock Lesnar at the age of 60 plus? I just don't understand. And
I don't get it.
Obviously, he's trying to gun for a match. I honestly think that, all fairness, even though we all know, obviously, that wrestling is a choreographed show, and it's predetermined. He's still going to have to take a bump, and taking a bump from Lesnar is like double the bump of anyone else, sort of thing. He throws people around that ring, and Lesnar is not going to exactly go out of his way of trying to shield the guy. It's just not what Lesnar does. So I just don't know. Like, maybe Hogan is hit his head hard or something, and he's I can't understand. Why would you want to?
It'd literally just be like, I'm going to go and get myself killed.
Yes, yeah. They could call it the suicide match, because who in their own right mind would want to go against Lesnar at that, in the condition, not only at the, like, let's say, Ricky Steamboat, he's getting on a little bit, but he can still wrestle. He can do great. But he's in 1,000 times better shape than Hulk Hogan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, sorry. I don't want to see Hogan back in the ring. Just in general, I don't want to see him back. I have no inclination of watching a match with Hogan in his prime, because his wrestling style does not match up with what people want to watch today. I have absolutely less interest in seeing him wrestle in the condition that he's in. So there we are. That's my. What about you? Would you want to see one more match from Hogan, or are you just done with it?
No, I'm good with Hogan just rolling off into the sunset.
Yeah. Talk about
if
let's say you got a match with Lesnar, how uncomfortable would that be? I mean,
it'd just be really difficult.
Yeah, just no. I
don't think it could work. It's just no way in at all.
No, exactly. That's our news. Not much of it this week, but we've got the 2 extra little bits of segments here for you this week to cover that up. It just seems like when it comes to the big events like SummerSlam and WrestleMania, the news dries up a bit. But it's always good that we have a week where we don't tell people that people have been released. So it's good stuff there. We don't want people losing their jobs, and it seemed like I was getting a little bit depressed going each week saying I think
it was safe to say we finally. That one's sort of come to a standstill, hopefully.
Yeah, well, there's going to be more, but I don't think it's going to nearly be on a week-to-week basis as we were getting it. Along those lines. A little bit of TNA this week. I managed to catch TNA. I'm actually pretty shocked. I've had a very busy week, but I managed to catch a little bit of TNA. Now, the episode here that is the fallout from Dixie Carter's table spot. So being powerbombed through the table by Billy Ray.
Yeah.
They had a pretty good segment here with EC3, Rhino, and Spud being ejected from the ring after, basically bitching about their Madam Dixie getting destroyed last week. And then at the start of the show also we had the Hardys and Team 3D, obviously talking about Bully Ray earlier on, talk about their past matches, all of which are available on the WWE Network for $9.99. Sorry, I had to add that in. Just,
Of course you did.
$9.99, of course, that's it.
$9.99.
$9.99. Yeah, it was quite funny because they're basically talking about all these great matches that they've had, the TLC matches, the WrestleMania matches, and it's like, okay, these are all the glory matches that are now are not with TNA, sort of thing. But still, they say, why don't we do it one more time? And they have a match later on. I didn't catch that match, even though it sounds like it'd be pretty good. I've heard it's pretty good. I didn't catch it. I got up to that match, but that's as far as I got. What I did see, however, Low-Key, obviously, Samoa Joe is the new X Division champion, so they need a new number one contender, and he is that guy. Seems pretty good. I think those two can have a good match. Heading into their next big event. So that's okay. That's the general gist of it. A little bit more of Kurt Angle. Whenever I see Kurt Angle coming out as this authority figure, it really does look like the guy's checked out. It looks like he's begging for that to go back to WWE.
So can I go now?
Yeah.
No, get back out there, but I wanna go.
Yeah, in my eyes, if I was Kurt Angle, I want to sever my ties with TNA when my contract goes. Get a Legends contract with WWE. Now, we said that obviously they're not hiring, but Legends contracts are much different. You get paid much more on a royalty basis. So when you get video games and actual appearances, you don't have to get paid these guys as much.
So, yeah.
So he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. Maybe makes a few appearances on Raw. And maybe comes back, does one more match on WWE, maybe if he feels good enough for it, maybe do like an RVD schedule, something along those lines, be a fresh name that hasn't been with the company for a while. I would much rather want to do that than be with TNA at the moment. So
yeah, and to be fair, I'd rather see Kurt Angle come along and do an RVD sort of contract.
Yeah. I mean, even less so.
I don't think we need him as a full-time guy anymore.
No. There's even on the 3-hour show, they seem to be putting a lot of their focus on on ipso facto their Shield guys. Dean Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns. I
saw an awesome little sort of comment about the Dean Ambrose Seth Rollins feud, and it's sort of just. It's the hottest feud currently going, and it's good to see that WWE can book, like, essentially a mid-card story and get it hot.
Yeah.
And that is what it is.
It is. I think they're making...
It's not for the title, so it's not main event, and it's not, what's currently going on with regards to the title.
Yeah, no, so... it's not like these two guys are like, fighting for the WWE title, now or like in 3 months' time. I mean, I know Rollins obviously has the briefcase, so you can put that into perspective. But he ain't cashing in against Lesnar.
The contract really plays no part in it at all.
Yeah, exactly. I fully agree with you. The thing is, though, with WWE, they have made a few missteps with this storyline, but I mean, all in all, these guys have gone out there and had good stuff. And I mean, this whole rivalry is a big factor into this week's Raw.
This week's Raw, like the match they had was phenomenal.
And we'll get into that, obviously, with our segment by segment breakdown of Raw. But yeah, if I going back to topic, if I Angle, I would want to go back to WWE, and it looks like he's just going out there doing his work, and then he'll look for that move eventually as time goes on. That's the TNA review. I will watch that Team 3D Hardys match. The only thing with this is that I'm going to watch this, and they're going to be starting up with this a whole sort of a long like tournament sort of style, like the first to two victories between the Hardys, Team 3D, and the Wolves. But obviously now we're hearing. I mean, I haven't seen much of the Wolves, but I'd much rather go back and watch old SummerSlam matches. I quite like the Wolves. But the thing is, as we know, as the news we said last week, the Wolves are obviously out of commission. One man down, and Bully Ray apparently is gone. And there's no news on him signing a new contract yet. So how the hell are you supposed to continue that? Do you just give the belts to the Hardys? I don't know. Just
Cop out.
It
Cop
is,
out answer, but I guess that's the best you're gonna get.
yeah, I mean, what else can you do? Really, to be honest. Fail of the week. Matt is looking very forward to this one. We have a lot to talk about with this fail of the week, not just because of the fail itself, but the repercussions. We were just talking about a Mr. Jeff Hardy. Our fail of the week focuses directly upon him. You probably already guessed it, I'm guessing, if you're listening to this. We are talking about TNA's pay-per-view Victory Road in 2011. A debacle that made it, that had the label put upon it of the worst pay-per-view of that year, and it's very hard to disagree.
Because of the build-up to such an immense sort of main event.
Yes.
To just go down a stinker.
That's it. So let me paint the picture for you guys. If you don't know what we're talking about, listen to us first, and then we can talk about it, and then you can go and YouTube it later. It's all over YouTube. You can find all the stuff about it. So Sting has just come back a month before this event. He beats Jeff Hardy, who is the then champion. And, so Sting is now the new TNA heavyweight champion. He stops his reign of terror because, Hardy's a heel. And they're going to go and have the rematch at this pay-per-view. Victory Road 2011. A big rematch for the title, and they're saying it's going to be much fairer this time because Hardy now knows who his opponent's going to be. And Sting, we're going to see all the, Sting put under the ringer and see if he's really back to his best and stuff like that. A clash, between Sting and Jeff Hardy. You think these guys could probably put on a pretty decent match, at very least,
Yeah,
safe to assume that they would. The pay-per-view leading up to this doesn't have many lengthy matches, so you think it's building up to a hell of a lengthy match between Sting and Jeff Hardy. I mean, none of the matches go over 20 minutes, on before this match. You're thinking, okay, this sets out to maybe have a 20-minute, 25-minute. I don't think Sting can go 30, but there you go. But, it looks like it's going to be a good match, so awesome. Sting comes out, looking good shape, comes out with the belt, great trench coat, looking badass. Then Jeff Hardy's music hits, and we see no Jeff Hardy.
Sting came out for second.
No, I think it was Hardy who came out second, wasn't it?
No.
I'm not sure. Regardless, and it doesn't matter.
But
so anyway, Hardy's music hits, and there's no Jeff Hardy. Okay. Goes on for a while, and suddenly I can't say he so much comes onto... He steps onto the stage... He stumbles, I think is probably a better word.
I would have gone with stumble.
Yeah. He looks like he's near on falling, A over T, T over A, whatever. The guy is obviously just out of his head. You can notice it just from the offset. Like, his eyes are glazed. He doesn't know where he is. I don't know what he's taken, if he's taken drink, drugs, a huffer bag, I don't know. We still don't know exactly what he took, but he was out of it. He was in a different world, Jeff Hardy. He certainly wasn't at Victory Road in his head. Let's just say that. The match starts after Eric Bischoff coming down and stating it's a no disqualification match, as if that had any bearing on the match at all.
Yeah.
But
it was Bischoff coming down to actually give the whole thing, just squash him.
Well, no, it wasn't. Bischoff didn't even tell him to. No, it wasn't Bischoff. Now, here's what happens. So, before this match, as the match starts off, because this match lasted all of 90 seconds, okay?
Yeah.
60 seconds of which is Jeff Hardy teasing that he's going to throw his shirt into the crowd and go, no. And when I say, you may think, that's a pretty cool heel thing to do. The guy is absolutely out of his tits. He does not know what's going on. He's just... You can tell as well, he looks like a slurring drunk guy, that you've got a pal who's drunk on the side. So you've got this drunk challenger. Sting, who has been through probably similar stuff during his WCW days. There's a lot of shit going on during that time. Yeah. Besides, enough is enough. I can't let this go on. This is absolutely embarrassing to the company. Hits his finisher on the guy and just forces the pin on him, finishes the match and walks out. With Jeff Hardy too out of his head to even sort of fight against
So Sting made the call?
Sting made the call, yeah.
See, because I heard it was actually Bischoff that came down and sort of... Because when he came up and did the whole handshake, he was just like... Because he approached Jeff first and then he went to Sting. And I thought it was a whole, he's wrecked, just pin him.
Yeah, as far as I know, they made the no disqualification match, so Sting was able to draw it out a lot longer. Go out to the outside and, you do a few moves and that way...
Rest it up.
Yeah, exactly. And Sting just, he called the play, the correct play in my eyes, and he finished the match. Now, the fail of the week obviously goes twofold in this sense, because one, to Jeff Hardy for doing this, and two, for TNA to think it was acceptable to send him out there in that condition.
Yeah, especially considering, I don't know, I mean, it's all rumours and speculation, but apparently he was like, going, this isn't my music, and sort of expecting to sort of be stumbling around a WWE locker room.
Yeah. It's just... Now, I saw a interview with Sting. This is done, I think in a year after this. He kept himself very tight-lipped because, he didn't want any further damage to the company. And, when you look at this guy, I think there's a YouTube comment, which I think was brilliant. He's just, and I think was absolutely apt to this, is that Sting doesn't look as if he's angry. He looks like he's disappointed, like a disappointed dad. That he's looking at this kid who had all the potential in the world, and he just keeps fucking it up. And that's what Jeff Hardy did here. He absolutely messed it up. He ended up looking horrendous. The company looked horrendous. The only person that came out looking as if he had a head on his shoulders is Sting, because he made the right call. It was embarrassing. But he came in and said afterwards that that by the time that he got to the building, this is obviously hours before the pay-per-view was due to air, he knew something wasn't quite right. With the whole situation. And he thought maybe things were going to get better, as the night went on, but inevitably they got worse. And he was still very shocked the fact they said, okay, that match is still happening. So obviously by the time he got out there and saw Hardy in the state he was in, he was like, I can't let this continue. This needs to end.
That's it.
So that's the way.
Play the vet card and just call it.
Yeah. Now, like as I said, Sting made exactly the right call. The TNA had to... give a 6 months free of their on-demand video service or something along those lines to people who bought the events because of the shocking nature of how embarrassing
the finish.
But TNA, they did that to themselves, really. I know it sucks, but if Hardy's in that much of a condition, then you replace him as an opponent. He's not even the champion. You can have another person take his place. I know
someone backstage took one look at him and go, "Yeah, you're fit to wrestle."
Yeah,
and sent him out there.
Yeah, I don't understand why that went through their head. Why would you send him out there? What's the sense of it? Did they think they could turn it into an angle, which they eventually did as Hardy searched for redemption? But then give these guys a good match instead of nothing, and it just then you can hide the fact that one of your top performers is shown up to the whole place just absolutely out of his head. And it's to the pair of them the fail of the week, and you can go and watch it. It's very easy to find, Victory Road 2011, and man, you just got to feel for Sting, man. He just looks so disappointed with the whole thing. He looks like he's
especially considering he came out all fired up, and then suddenly he's just like, you what?
Yeah, exactly. And Taz is quite funny because on commentary he's like, Sting has reinvented himself. Look how quickly he's beaten Jeff Hardy. And it's like, yeah, that's you're talking Jerry Lawler style bullshit there, guy. Come on. That's our fail of the week. A little bit more of a somber one, not as funny, but still, that's up there with some of the top fails that I think we'll talk about. And now we've covered that's TNA's first fail of the week on the podcast, and there is a few, so we'll go into that.
That's it.
But we still don't even. Oh man, people thinking, "Oh, you're going to run out of fails, man." We haven't even begun to dig into the surface of the WCW fails, so we've got plenty to come.
We haven't even started on Sin Cara.
Oh God, we could do a whole episode on that guy. Jesus. Right, so let's get into our Raw review, the meat and bones of the podcast. We review every segment of Raw, even the 20-second WWE mini segments that they love, and tell you exactly what happened and our thoughts upon it. Some talking points here is that this is the first Raw that will feature the new logo, the network logo, which is what I'm calling it. This whole to go along with that, the show had a bunch of new graphics. I know people caught that as well, like transitions and
and also the name titles and things like that changed as well.
Yeah, and they kind of did a slight remix of the theme to make it a little bit faster, I think.
I heard a completely different song, which is I heard they're like, oh, could it be that there would be a new song for Raw? And I was like, oh, well, maybe that makes sense. And then. Yeah. Well, it's not like they do the opening video anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
For the respective show.
Yeah. listen, I mean, talking with themes anyway for Raw, the theme that they have at the moment hasn't grated on me nearly as much as the Nickelback one did. So I don't think they need to change it yet. It's not like grinding.
Hey, we're going to burn it to the ground tonight.
Yeah, no, God.
Yeah, we are. We're going out tonight to kick off when we like. Take anything we want.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Anything in sight.
No. I'll put more Bo Dallas references on this show. Don't make me go there, okay?
We're going until the world stops turning. We'll burn it to the ground tonight.
Okay.
I found your weakness.
No.
Old Raw music.
No. So yeah, their theme is fun, but there was a bunch of new graphics on the show and fonts, and they just shook up a little bit, and I appreciate that. It's good to have a little bit of a change. And the show kicked off with like a revamped version of the SummerSlam opening video, which basically highlighted the stuff that happened on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, who won, who beat who, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And this one's from Las Vegas, from the gambling nation, gambling capital of the world.
The city of sin.
City of sin. That's it. So Vegas is the one. If you remember before, Raw used to do this like Raw Roulette whenever they're in Vegas. They seem
to Raw Roulette.
Yeah, I thought Roulette was a little bit gimmicky, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. None of that this week. There was barely any reference to gambling or anything along those lines. So, which to a degree didn't hurt the show. It was still okay. This show.
That's it.
But anyway, hot off the heels off of SummerSlam, and Daniel Bryan's music hits to open the show. I immediately thought this was going to be BS. It was not going to be him.
Did you fall for this one?
No, I didn't fall for this one. Personally.
Okay.
I didn't think it would be him. So it's Steph who comes out sporting our own brand of Yes shirts with Steph upon it. Good stuff. I thought that was good stuff. She announces during the show a new title will be awarded to the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
She does her best Brock Lesnar, but doesn't do it nearly as good.
I mean, none of them, they can't help themselves, can they?
No.
It's like Brock Lesnar. No. It can't be just Brock Lesnar. It has to be Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
It's like,
you've got to, the way you say it is you've got to have like there's an A between the B and the R. It's Brock Lesnar. Oh, yeah. That's the way you got to do it. Nah, she did her best here, but it's fine. It'll take some improving. She says that you can revisit her victory over Brie Bella for just $9.99. I did say last week that you're just going to have to start accepting that this is going to be in the show.
There wasn't that many this Raw.
No.
I will admit, this Raw, I didn't rage. I didn't go into my $9.99 fury.
Yeah, it did. It's not nearly as bad as like 3 weeks ago. It was offensively all over the place. I mean, they went overboard with all that now. But you know what's really frustrating? The live crowds are doing it back, and they're probably patting themselves on the back, thinking, "Oh, we did a good one here." Oh God!
It's like, no, they're picking on you.
No, I tell you what. When you say 99, just instead of chanting 9.99, just say we won't buy the network. Just do that. Maybe they'll stop, but maybe that's asking too much. She brings out Nikki Bella, who has a unfortunate shoe malfunction on the way to the ring.
Yeah, look at that girl all drunk and shit, losing shoes.
Looking at shoes all over the place. Let's see if WWE makes as much fun over her with that than they did with Lillian Garcia. Had exactly the same thing. I very much doubt they will.
Yeah, Lillian Garcia straight up fell over.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit peeved at the way they Lillian Garcia is a lovely woman, and I just don't like the way they treat her sometimes. I don't know why. It really gets on me. For people that's maybe listened to it like at the early start of this show, we went into the whole Lillian Garcia thing of her being referenced as a horse face constantly, and they think it's hilarious. Apparently Vince McMahon thinks that joke is the funniest thing. Just idiotic. Anyway, she has a little mini promo, and she shows that she is the worst of the two twins on the mic.
Are you sure about that?
I thought she was fucking horrendous.
I'm not going to turn around and say she was good on the mic, but at least we didn't have the usual that we usually get with Nikki. Oh, Nikki, Brie.
I just thought she was fucking. I thought, to be honest, the pair of them were pretty bad this week. I made a reference here of saying that she's as wooden as my walking stick. So there you go.
Cool. I mean, none of them are going to sell me this rivalry.
No.
And as a result, I've instantly lost so much interest, especially considering it was just generic bullshit. She was always the mean sister.
Yeah.
So, oh, fuck off.
Essentially, yeah. We always said with the Brie and Steph storyline that it was one person, carrying that entire storyline. It certainly wasn't Brie.
Yeah, and it wasn't Nikki, so there we go.
There we go. So having these two girls against each other is not nearly going to be as interesting as the Steph feud, but there we go. She says that she betrayed Brie because Cena wouldn't marry her. I think Cena... I actually have an exclusive...
That wasn't in her exact words.
Well, you're saying...
Yeah, the long and short of it. She married the goat face first.
Well, she said along the lines that she's always made fun of me because I'm not married. And I think that's more of an issue for Cena, to be honest. Now, I do have an exclusive. Cena was thinking of proposing to Nikki, but he decided against it after 2 minutes.
Because he always kicks out too.
Exactly. So
she never finishes. Oh.
Yeah. Oh wow! You went there, man. There was a line and you crossed it. Man. If there was a line for bad acting, the Bellas crossed that pretty bad here. As Brie comes out anyway.
Family, but we're sisters. We will always be friends.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
You know it's bad when I've watched episodes of Total Divas and it was more entertaining than this segment. There you go. So
no.
Yeah. So
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing with this is that she's not the person that you think she is. She's so bad and she's such a bad person. When I watched this, it reminded me of the fact that they've got writers in their creative that have a soap opera background because they screamed it. I wasn't interested in this. It screams soap opera, and it's not as if it was soap opera done good. It was very poorly executed by both these girls. It was almost like Randy Orton when he's reading off lines. Sometimes it was worse than that.
My name is Randy Orton.
Yeah. The fans gave this segment way more response than it deserved. I was very shocked.
If there's one thing I can take out of this segment that is actually quite good, Brie got hit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was a slap.
Yeah, you got to give her props. That was a good slap. Yeah, and that's probably the best slap that we've seen, between the three of them so far.
In fact, I think I actually saw the blemish come up almost instantly.
Yeah, she went full pelt.
As Brie was sort of running away, just what's that on your car? Oh my god, that's actually where you got hit.
Yeah. It was a good one-up. I'll give them that. Praise where it's due, but unfortunately, criticism where it's due. It
was terrible.
Yeah, this rivalry ain't gonna work with these two girls on the mic. They need to figure that out very quickly because it's gonna get bad quickly. They cannot give this rivalry as much time as they gave to Steph and Brie because Steph was carrying that entire thing through, and Steph's not going to be there. I kind of
fear that Steph may start carrying this one as well.
Yeah. That's the only way it can work is if they shut up Nikki Bella and they have Steph talk for her. That's the only best way. I don't think it's going to go that way at all. I think more and more Steph is going to start distancing herself away from this rivalry, which is good for her, but it means that we're going to have the Bellas against each other and it ain't going to be entertaining. I can call that now.
Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to it when they first started. I'm not looking forward to it now.
Yeah, that's exactly. So, to start off the matches on the show, the Wyatt family against Big Show and Mark Henry. Seeing the Wyatts now, and how little has been done with the Usos since, the last, almost 2 months, I guess. Since their rivalry broke up. It makes me wonder why they didn't when they didn't give the belt to the Wyatts.
Well, I think the last we saw of the Usos was their win of the 2 out of 3 Falls match.
Yeah, and maybe they've been on a few matches on Raw, but we talk about throwing together matches here, nothing of any note, nothing memorable at the very least.
No, at all.
And considering that neither of them been doing anything, why didn't you make the belt switch? That's what I would say. They show the German announce team. I'm guessing that with Del Rio's release, they've got no one that they need the Spaniards there for. So they've been bumped down. I imagine. I think the main reason why they've got the Germans out there is because it has launched in Germany. So that's.
I guess that just makes sense, yeah.
They had 4 German announcers at SummerSlam, which seems like way too many, and it made Matt burp. So that's too much German.
Too much German,
yeah. But still, 4. they could call a German suplex each 4 times, and it evens out quite well at SummerSlam, I guess, with the 4 of them. So
it all adds up.
All adds up. So yeah, German announced team around. I'm guessing that if they are going to hang around a lot longer, that their efficient table may not give out as much as the Spanish one, but we'll see.
Or the official one.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a decent enough match, I will say it. It was alright. It was a good match in the sense that these guys are 2 teams of very big guys against each other, and Harper did a lot of good work in this match because he was the most agile, probably the best wrestler out of the 4 of them, just going out there and saying that.
Oh yeah, easily.
Henry and Show...
He has been for a while, though.
Yeah. And Henry and Show get the win. I was going to say it looks like they've thrown them against the Wyatts with no plan, but it doesn't even seem that they're going in that direction now, because Henry's going in a completely different direction. So I don't know what they've got planned for the Wyatt family or Big Show.
I didn't really see much of a purpose for this.
Yeah, it seems a bit odd. I mean, I know that they've been having Big Show and Mark Henry team up. You think maybe they're going to have a shot at the belts, be a challenger for the Usos. Speed against power. Could have a good match between those guys, might work.
Interesting.
And what else? How else are you really going to do with Big Show and Mark Henry at the tail end of their careers, and they're not doing anything? But as we said, Mark Henry's going to go and do a different storyline. It leaves all 3 of the rest of these guys without anything really much to do.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Wyatt family have had nothing to do the last couple of months, so shame for them anyway. But it was a decent enough match. Ziggler is backstage with Ric Flair. Miz interrupts and saying that the title is coming back to an A-lister. Ziggler responds by saying, "No, it's you're not an A-lister. You're just an a-hole." And that made me surprised. What goes for PG nowadays? Jesus.
And then as a result, you had to have Flair just going woo,
woo! A complimentary woo. Come on, for something like that. I have to ask, what the hell is the Miz wearing nowadays? I don't know. In fact,
hold on again.
It looks like a tent that he's just draped over
little
himself.
bit, or like he's an off-duty KKK member.
Yeah, off-duty. Hey, maybe they can bring back Nation 2.0. We say Nation 2.0. I mean, these guys were never given a name anyway, but still. Yeah, it does look a bit odd, doesn't it? Or do you know what it looks like to me? It looks like one of those things that like you put on yourself when you go to sleep. It's like one of the blankets that you can put your hands in. Yeah,
was it like the slink, the
Snuggies or something?
The Snuggie or something.
Yeah, or something along those. People know what we're talking about. Yeah, it looks like one of them. Just looks very odd. Yeah, with bitch this, a-hole that, man. Apparently, I don't know what flies for PG swearing nowadays. So
keep it clean. Surely.
Interesting. A-hole. Interesting here that Flair was used. Reason being,
I don't know why Flair was there at all, really.
Yeah. The thing is with this, right, the reason I say it's interesting, he had little to do with the segment, but the reason he was used is because, if you remember, when Flair was re-signing back with the WWE, apparently he wanted to work with Ziggler, but he was told, no, you're going to go work with The Miz. So it's quite interesting
that... The Miz now has the Figure 4.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's interesting that he's now involved in a segment involving both of these guys. So, are we going to see this going to fruition? Don't really know, but he was out and about for this show, and he's been working a lot more with WWE. Apparently, he's even been taking small bumps at live events and stuff like that. So maybe he might be working with one of these guys going forward. I think he would be a brilliant guy to work for Ziggler if Ziggler decided he wants to go back heel and make Flair heel as well. But we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah,
it's not as if being a face has done Ziggler any favors. Then we go to another backstage segment. Seth Rollins is backstage with Renee Young. He spews out the usual heel garbage that you'd expect him to say, "Oh, I'm the best. I beat Ambrose." And then, hilariously, Ambrose decides to nominate him on the spot for an ice bucket challenge. And...
yeah, I loved that. It definitely had me chugging. It's like, what? It's for charity.
It's for charity.
Beats in the head with a bucket.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant stuff because the reaction of Ambrose and both Rollins in that moment where he throws the ice over him is just priceless. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Rollins is selling the fact, and Ambrose is just like, it's for charity. What are you doing? It's just don't be angry. And then they beat the shit out of each other. So good stuff. A lot of good stuff coming from both these guys on this show. And SummerSlam, of course. But that was our match of the night, wasn't it? Oh, was it yours as well? No, it was mine.
What, the main event?
No, the SummerSlam, the Rollins.
Oh, at SummerSlam? Yeah. They had main match of the night.
Yeah, and tonight they had match of the week as well.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Doing good stuff, they are. So this leads to Rollins raging at Triple H. Triple H tells him that they'll have a rematch with Ambrose tonight, and the fans will decide what the stipulation is, and they can choose between no holds barred, falls count anywhere, no disqualification. So no holds barred and no DQ are essentially the same match. So
yeah,
they knew what was going to be called later on in the match, and it did end up being a falls count anywhere match. It was the stip that we wanted at SummerSlam, but to be honest, we got both matches, so I'm not that bothered. That's okay.
That's it. And as a result, we actually, even though we hated the original stipulation, it was great. So what does it matter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we didn't like the lumberjack stipulation going into it, but they made it work. And so, like, if something's good and entertaining, then why would we keep digging on it? It was awesome. They had a great match. Paige against Natalya. Paige before, obviously Paige is your new Divas champion, beat AJ clean at SummerSlam. People have been saying that it was too quick, it wasn't good. I thought it was a great match personally between these two guys at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, I loved their match.
I thought their match was good, short but sweet.
Yeah.
So there we are. This match was short and nothing of it, really, unfortunately. Paige comes out beforehand. She says that she loves and respects AJ, and she's dedicating the match.
I fear they're going like the Trish Stratus, Mickey James sort of.
No, I don't think. I mean, that was damn near lesbonic. That storyline with Mickey James.
That is
Mickey
true.
James and Trish. This is more like kind of following the storyline of basically bitchiness. That's essentially the theme of the thing.
Oh, but she's still my best friend.
Yeah. They're so obviously fake now with the whole thing that it's just part of it. The one thing that's saying with this match, I found a little bit disappointing that they didn't actually have a proper match, Paige and Natalya, is because the chain wrestling at the beginning was excellent.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Really good chain wrestling at the start of this match, and I was like, yes, okay, come on, we could have a Paige Natalya match. It could go on, hopefully go on for 10 minutes because I know these girls can go for it. But it wasn't to be. AJ decides she's going to come down, provide the distraction for the ultimate finishing move in all of wrestling history. Doesn't matter about the tombstone, the Stone Cold Stunner. The roll-up pin is the greatest move of all time. It's put away legends, champions. In fact, if we ever get a shirt, it's literally going to be the roll-up pin with the words "greatest move ever created" or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And the tongues on buttholes one as well, which we haven't busted out that saying in a while. So yeah, it is the roll-up pin. They use this week after week after week after week. The distraction.
Someone's got to hit it. I think it's sort of like getting to that point now where it's like we can't not have it.
Yeah. Now, one of the great things with Dolph Ziggler, just putting this out, whenever he gets an opportunity, he does a roll up pin. He always does the zigzag because he's doing it from behind. Whenever I just thinking of like people that don't actually use the roll up pin all the time, and still everyone uses the roll up pin sometime in their career, and this is Natalya's time to do it. It looks like there's one more match left in this feud, obviously, with AJ and Paige. AJ pretty much responds in exactly the same manner on the mic, and she says that she loves Paige, that she admires her. And
so it just repeats the same thing. Yeah.
And yeah, as you said before, with the whole Mickey James Trish Stratus thing, is getting a little bit awkward, and AJ was borderline getting. I mean, we've got Paige like almost sexually like crawling across her opponents before headbutting them. And we've got AJ telling Paige that she loves her and stuff. Yeah, getting a little bit there. I'll give you that, Matt. Actually, looking back on it, it's getting a little bit
much, yeah.
But it's okay for now. I still think Paige and AJ. If it's going to be like AJ's last match, which we don't know yet, but if it's going to be her match before she goes off and has the family apparently that she wants, then why not give these girls 10-15 minutes at pay-per-view? Just do it.
Proper.
Yeah. And show people what your Divas division can do. And that's what. Well, we've been saying that since we started the podcast. Our second episode of the podcast was talking about how damaged the Divas division was, and one of the matches that we said that we would like to see is a Paige against AJ, and we've been having that. So there we are.
That's it. We can't hate it.
That's it. On commentary, they are spouting all their original programming, which apparently consists all of Total Divas and Legends House, one of which is available on another channel, so it's not exclusive, and the other one has been finished for weeks.
Yeah.
Not a lot of exclusive original programming. They better have more than just Legends House by the time that the network launches over here, because I'm going to get through Legends House pretty quick. That's the only thing I can say. Just having one season of one show, because I'm not going to watch. They don't. I think they're getting it wrong. When they're spouting Total Divas as something that their fans want to buy. I wonder how many people bought the network for Total Divas. It's probably less than 10. You know what I mean? It's not very many.
Yeah.
Especially if
I couldn't see the point of it.
But like all the people that would want to watch Total Divas are the people that watch E shows, so they would watch on E. There's no point of them getting the network, is it? That's what I would say. Stephanie and Triple H are out to gift the new WWE World Title to Brock Lesnar, which is essentially the original the WWE belts that they've been using recently, but updated with the new logo. And they've got away with the big gold belt. The big gold belt's gone. They're not using it as part of it.
It's really disappointing though.
It is a little bit.
The history of the big gold belt.
Yeah, I mean they've done this a few times before. When they first mixed them together, remember the big gold belt was removed as well.
Yeah.
And they brought it back eventually. It's likely they can't help themselves and it will come back. Maybe a year, 2 years down the line, maybe. I prefer it being one belt personally, but there we are. But it is a shame. They actually had a good storied ending where John Cena gave the big gold belt to Ric Flair and he walked out of the building with it.
Yeah.
And we thought, what a great way to end it with arguably the greatest champion to ever hold that belt, Ric Flair. But next week, obviously, John Cena comes back out with both the belts. It just seemed very odd, especially if this was the final plan with that belt. And what WWE.com decided, instead of interviewing all the great champions about that belt, they decided to interview David Arquette about that belt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a poor choice.
So, yeah, the new belt, it's okay. It's a lot like the old one. Well, I like to say old one. They haven't had this new belt for a long time. But me and Matt have seen this belt already. It actually got leaked a couple of weeks ago. So we knew this belt was coming. So
the thing is, I was trying to figure out, I was like, what have they got on the panels for Brock Lesnar? Because like the yes,
yeah.
You can't see me and all that. It's like, what have they got for Brock? Oh, they got the big demon head from his back tattoo.
Yeah,
like, nice.
Yeah, a good fit, to be honest. Or maybe they should just got eat, sleep, conquer, repeat, or something along those lines. There, still good stuff. Anyway, so the four of them, Brock Lesnar after being awarded the belt with Heyman, the four of them are parading around the ring, getting pictures done, and then they decide to leave the pair of them in the ring, Heyman and Lesnar, and they give Paul Heyman a microphone.
Yes.
Great things are about to happen.
Lesnar is champion, so let Paul Heyman play.
Yeah, let him do his thing, I think is probably the best thing. He says that Cena has earned Heyman's respect and admiration for never giving up. And even though despite the fact that his kids are also Cena fans and that pisses him off, he says that he would make Cena a Paul Heyman guy if he had the time, which, if Cena was ever to go heel, he won't. But if he ever were to go heel, man, that would be quite interesting to have Heyman do promos for the guy. But it's not going to happen, so there we are. However, Brock Lesnar does not share the same opinions as Paul Heyman. And the C Nation, hustle, loyalty, respect, everything to do with Cena was all conquered last night at SummerSlam by Lesnar. So good stuff here. He busts out the basic Brockonomics, which I thought was a cool thing, which was eat, sleep, suplex, repeat, suplex, repeat, suplex, repeat, and so forth, going forward. After all different suplexes, I told you, the whole 16 suplexes thing was part of the story of that match, and
of course,
coming to fruition now.
I mean, it's as we said in the on the Let's Talk More. It's just because the German suplex is just one of those. It has more of a manhandling look than a standard suplex.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you just throw him away, Yeah. as that you get with a German, whereas opposed to like with a suplex, there's like the arm over and the setup and things like that. Whereas like German, waist lock, throw, waist lock, throw.
Yeah, it's just over and over again the way that Brock did it. If you want to hear our thoughts about that match, go and listen to our Let's Talk More Wrestling over the week. We were big fans of the Lesnar-Cena match because we could see it for what it was, which is a lot of this stuff was used as storyline. There was a story to be told in that match, and it's now carrying over into the aftermath of said match. So good stuff from it.
Exactly.
I didn't go through all the stuff that Heyman said, only the parts that I quite enjoyed, more than the entire promo is great.
I enjoyed all of it.
All of it. He's fantastic. You knew setting this up for Heyman is basically his bread and butter. Come on, him selling the fact that he is this smug heel manager for this incomparable beast, and now that beast is a champion after proving Heyman right. Just it sets him up for a brilliant promo, and he did exactly that. And one of the things I did like, giving Brock a few props here, is that Brock was not nearly as static as he usually is. He normally he stands there doing nothing. Here he even told Heyman to say his name again because he loves the way that Heyman says it. Awesome stuff.
It was almost like, this is what Brock looks like when he's in a good mood.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. It's like he's champion now and he's smiling at the thought.
Exactly, yeah. So I liked the banter between them here. It made it seem a little bit more real between them. I thought it was pretty good. Sometimes you do have to go with the mindless monster thing of Brock just staring at the camera, menacing. But every now and then you can have him like this. He's still a monster, but he's...
even the fact that I've now seen him smile doesn't mean I'm going to walk up to him and slap him.
Exactly.
Oh, he's human now.
Yeah.
He's still Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this whole him smiling thought Hulk Hogan was a great idea to go and try and get a match with the guy. Idiot Hogan, come on. Still, moving forward, Ziggler against Miz, the rematch for the Intercontinental title. Now, when I saw this up as a match of the night, immediately my alarms are going off saying Miz is going to win the belt back tonight. He doesn't, so there is that. Michael Cole made me laugh on this show.
Huh?
Breaking news. He made me chuckle. Isn't that a shock?
Explain.
Yeah. So, we were talking about Miz's coat earlier on. Miz comes to the ring and Cole's saying, what the hell is Miz wearing? JBL replies, well, it's designer clothing. And Cole hits back with, who designed it? A monk? And I thought that was pretty funny. It gave me a little bit of a chuckle. I don't know why. It wasn't a great joke. It made me chuckle. I thought it was worth saying it because commentary very rarely made me laugh. Yeah.
Probably nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Not like a proper belly laugh or just like a...
I wasn't laughing out loud. I wasn't lolling all over the place.
It didn't lull me.
It didn't lull me, no. It was a light little chuckle.
And I missed that joke completely, so...
Well, there we are. So, but the fact is that I got even the slightest bit of chuckle, considering I don't normally laugh at anything that commentary has to say nowadays. I thought it was noteworthy. So there we go. Got a chuckle from Cole. Extremely rare. I don't expect it to happen again, probably for another 5 years. But there we are. Maybe never again. Who knows?
We might get one eventually. So, I mean, surely we're overdue a superstar throwing up on him.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh dear. So, let's face it, with everyone stealing JBL's hat, I mean, bad things got to happen to the other guys sooner or later. And, King is immune, because obviously with his heart problem, so...
That's it. Yeah, He's safe.
We get Titus O'Neil throwing up on him again, maybe, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Oh, well. So, this match, it didn't end the way that I thought it was. As soon as it came out, I thought they were going to give the belt back to Miz. That didn't happen. It was a decent match where Ziggler is selling... a major injury, an injury so bad that he can't even get back into the ring for the 10 count when he's outside of the ring. So it leads to a count out, face retaining the title victory, which I thought was very odd. They don't it was unique at very least. How many times do we see the heel staying outside for the 10 and walking out with the belt? But this time it was the face actually coming out of the belt after being counted out, which is a bit strange.
I mean, you had the only problem is you had JBL just like, oh, when he's outside the ring, look at him, he could get up. And it's like, well, no, I'm generally believing this. He's done a good job selling it.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Ziggler and selling kind of goes in the same bed, doesn't it?
That's it.
There we go. JBL he really grated on me throughout the show. There's one particular moment that we're going to get into soon that he That really got me annoyed with it. But he was in full JBL mode, and when he's in this mode, he's either fantastic or he's distracting. More often than not, he's distracting.
Yeah.
And he was on this show to the 10th degree. It was awful, shall we say?
It made it difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. So you can obviously expect this. They're probably going to have another match, Miz and Ziggler. I do expect Miz to get the belt back. So there we go. In fact, with Ziggler selling the injury, they could probably have a match where Ziggler's probably unable, but he carries on fighting like with the heart of a champion and Miz wins the belt back.
You see, the thing is, like, you were just like, and they'll probably have a match again, but it's like, oh yeah, we don't stick with the rematch clause ruling anymore, do we?
No.
He's had his rematch.
Let's
Back
just give
of
him
the
a
line.
Yeah.
But no, for the sake of story.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
So yeah, I do fully expect that. Maybe it won't happen, but it just makes little sense to have anything else at this point, to be honest. And like I said, I've been conditioned to believe that they're gonna screw over Ziggler like this. You know, WWE have taught me not to get my hopes up with Ziggler, so I'm not going to. You know, that's the way it is.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Renee Young is backstage with Jack Swagger. He says that he'll come back from his loss with Rusev. He'll pick himself up because that is what We the People means.
That's it.
I'm pretty sure that's not We the People means, but still. Fair enough. You know, Jack Swagger's going to be in a bit of an awkward state now. He's no longer feuding with Rusev. In fact, it looks like he's going to be feuding with Bo Dallas. We'll get into that in a minute. But now he's in this sort of, you know, he's not going to be in a as hot rivalry for a very, very long time, if at ever in his career. So he's in this really weird transitional period where now he's a face, but he's got no heel to go against. So he's more than likely going to get lost in the shuffle pretty soon, I imagine. But regardless, he's in a match next with Cesaro. And no Zeb Coulter. He's selling the very mild kick that he received from Rusev the night before. It was very mild. Rusev barely hit the guy, really.
Oh, I know. It's like, and he's still injured. It's like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And especially when you know the fact that, you know, people that know, Coulter still wrestles from time to time, and you know, in independence and stuff like that. So, you know, you can probably take a little bit of a push
a kick,
with his leg. You know,
that's it. Yeah. It's not a kick; it's a foot push.
Yeah, exactly. So during this match, by the way, JBL is absolutely losing his shit that Swagger lost the match for letting the country down. JBL is acting like Swagger ripped off El Torito's tail or something. Jesus Christ, he is losing he's losing his stuff. He's going absolutely ballistic throughout not only this match but the match afterwards as well. He's losing his shit. JBL, when he's in this mood, is so distracting. Yeah, and very, very annoying. He was very good when he first came to do commentary. Now he's just as unbearable as the other two. He really is. I don't want to say that about the guy because you know he's capable of better, but he just seems like he's got himself into a situation where he's trying to play.
Can we get rid of JBL and just get Regal? Oh,
Regal would be brilliant as a heel announcer. But they would never do it because.
Or maybe we're just biased Brits.
I honestly believe if you were to put. Our American fans, we know that the majority of you guys are American. You're listening. Tell us now if you want JBL or Regal. I guarantee a lot of them are going to say Regal because he's better. You know, it's the way it is. So just trying to get away from the distraction of them barely talking about the match and just talking about the fact JBL's so pissed off that Swagger lost the match for his country and all this lot. So Swagger ends up losing to Cesaro here. Not that it does Cesaro any favours. I firmly believe they've got no plans for this guy. We'll go into that a little bit later.
Cesaro will sit in this holding pattern for a while.
Apparently now, after this match is finished, which was a half-decent match with these guys, his music now has an ambulance siren at the start of it.
Yeah, and that's really annoying.
They managed to find some way, somehow, to make his theme music worse. It's a miracle. I honestly think it could be done. They've proved us wrong. They managed to make the whole theme worse. I personally preferred the air raid siren at the beginning of his theme. I personally think that he should just ditch the entire theme, but they're obviously not going with that. So
it's almost like they're going back to sort of like the old original sort of more sort of rock style music. So, I mean, sort of Cesaro. I mean, look at Ambrose and Rollins for their entrance musics now.
Yeah.
And then turns out Cesaro probably just started it all to the sort of the new era of musics.
Generic rock theme number 2 sort of thing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I remember Daniel Bryan when he first got into the main roster after coming back at that SummerSlam.
When he's referred to as like, I come out to a generic rock song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, just to be honest, that's all these guys have at the moment as entrances. Personally, we're going to go into Cesaro in a lot more detail later on in our We Were Down Wrong segment. But they should have let him keep the Real Americans theme, because that theme is awesome. I love that theme, but apparently not. So anyway, after this match, Bo Dallas of all people comes out to give inspiration to the masses, or Bo-spiration, or
That's
I don't know. He says that Swagger has lost his self-respect, his dignity, but he can get it all back by Bo leaving. And apparently this sets up a feud with Bo Dallas and Swagger, which is not good for the pair of them, I firmly believe. But apparently the word is around that apparently, Creative and Vince himself has already lost interest in the Bo Dallas character. If that's true, I'm worried for Bo, because I think he could do something really great, but since he lost his streak to R-Truth of all people, who has done nothing since,
yeah,
it just seems like they got no stock in the guy, and it's worrying. When they bring people.
I think the sole reason that he lost to Truth was just sort of he has that evil side, and I think that was just the sole purpose of his loss to Truth. Yeah,
but they haven't done anything with that. They showed the dark side of Bo Dallas, but what have they done with that since then? They've done nothing at all.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that Swagger against Bo Dallas won't do the pair of them any favours, honestly. So, yeah, apparently that's what they're going for. There still is no plan for Cesaro. Cesaro has no feud going on at all. And obviously, as we said earlier on, we'll get into him later on in regards to what's going on with Cesaro. Renee Young is with Backstage. Yeah, Backstage is being interviewed.
There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
He's backstage with...
Yeah, backstage with Chris Jericho. He refers to the awesome spot in the match that he had with Bray Wyatt, where Bray screamed at him that he's already dead. Chris replies back with saying that he's not dead, that Chris himself isn't dead, that he has the fire to be the best and to be the best out there night in, night out, and that he has the best fans in history, and Bray Wyatt can never take that away from him. This obviously leads to a storyline where Bray tries to take that away from him. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Oddly enough, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, how can you believe in a false person sort of thing?
Yeah. Now, they are going to have one more match with these guys. That's where it's going, and it looks like it will be not only the blow off to the feud, but it will be blow off to Jericho being around, because apparently it's going to be like a loser leaves town match along those lines. So, and fair enough, it's okay. They've got enough there for one more match, and then I think it's time for Wyatt to move on, because he hasn't had the best of years this year.
No.
Orton and Rybacksel with so the Orton teaming up with Rybacksel against Reigns, Sheamus, and RVD. JBL is still doing his usual shtick before this match, still raging about the Jack Swagger stuff. I mean, he's been raging about a good 20 minutes now about all this. He's just...
Oh, yeah, it's like the flag, the Russian flag, blah, 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 blah.
This leaks into him saying that that Orton has never made an excuse for losing. Isn't that essentially what his gimmick was when he won the title last year? That he had excuses all the time for losing his matches. So... The thing I don't like about JBL, he's a heel commentator, but he's also nonsensical. A good heel commentator, as I've said in the weeks before,
can at least back in it.
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't try and just tell you he try and tell you something when he knows it's not a fact. He lies to himself as a character. Good heels like Jerry Lawler in his heyday would come up with really silly excuses for why people lost if they were heels. So he just slipped over the ring. It wasn't really a fall along those lines or anything like that. You know what I mean? But with JBL, he contradicts himself over and over again. That's the reason why JBL is frustrating, and he was doing it again here. So. And King had a brilliant line throughout all this, of which gave me a chuckle. Not at their expense, where King says, "I'm unbiased." He said that a little bit later on in the show, with a match going on. I just want to talk about the commentary there. Did you catch that as well?
I didn't know.
He says, "I'm unbiased." Really?
King, unbiased.
Really?
Sure.
Unbiased, King. Really? Come on.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
No, I don't buy that either. This match, anyway, you're thinking it's got, one of the guys from the Shield, the Kings of the six-man tag match, so should be pretty good. And it was alright. It was good stuff. One thing I would say, if I were Orton as a character, is what have I done to piss off the Authority to be teamed up with the tag jobbers, Ryback? It's not exactly the best tag team partnership to be put with, is it? Ryback is in his hometown, Las Vegas, so he's being treated like a face. We're getting Feed Me More chants.
Oh, he got such a reception.
Yeah, Feed Me More, Ryback rules, Ryback. There was not a Goldberg chant in sight in this arena, so
no, not at all.
Good night to be Ryback. Don't expect it to last, of course, but there we are. It was another decent match. RVD actually, strangely enough, got the win. You think Reigns, as he's so hot, made it. It was a little bit fresh that RVD actually got the final hit and the final pinfall for his team. It did involve a pretty cool spot where while RVD's on the floor, Reigns jumped over him to spear Orton. So I thought that was pretty cool. That he managed to make that finisher seem even more epic than it does. And towards the end of this match is where it got very good as things started to break down. Finishers galore everywhere. Spears, RKOs, you expect the whole thing by now. Good stuff. I don't know where they're going. I don't even think they're going to have Reigns.
I don't think it was really
again.
Intending to go anywhere.
No, it's not really. There's a lot of things here we don't know what direction they're going to go in. It looks like they just have a lack of direction. Mr. Lack of Direction is Sheamus, and he was in this match, so there you are. The guy hasn't had direction for probably years now. To be honest.
When was his last pay-per-view?
He's probably been in a pay-per-view match. I remember him being a part of that ladder match. Remember, to crown the champion after Daniel Bryan was injured. But it's just like he's like a squad rotation player. He's just they put him in there when they need someone. And that's his job.
Yeah, that's it.
There's nothing to be excited about when it comes to Sheamus. Backstage, anyway, after this match, Orton is with an ice pack on his neck, and Flair comes up.
For no reason.
For no reason, yeah,
just
pretty much.
Just because Flair's around.
Yeah. Orton says that he should find a way to get out of his hair, because otherwise he'll find out that he's the Legend Killer. A mini 20-second segment that WWE just loves. They love these mini transitions between these characters.
Yeah.
Which
was there a point?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, these segments would be a lot more interesting if they led anywhere, but they don't. So why would I want to watch them? It's just Wyatt is back to give us another awesome cryptic promo. A shorter one, very short one, but still very good. He says that Chris...
Still effective enough.
Yes, still effective. He says that Jericho will never know who Wyatt is, and that he is the new face of salvation. And like I said, there's not really much else here to say here, but Wyatt still doing good stuff on the mic. We're still hoping for the Wyatt-Lesnar promo off between, so we can have Wyatt against Paul Heyman. And, in fact, Kayfabe News did a very funny article saying that ratings due to be boosted from a 3-hour Heyman promo. Imagine a good 20-minute back and forth between Heyman and Wyatt. The stuff of dreams. Stuff of dreams right there.
That'd be great.
Not going to happen, but...
It would be great.
So, that's pretty much all that you're going to get from Wyatt and Chris Jericho this week. But as we said there, they're probably going to have one more match. So, Usos against Goldust and Stardust. Finally, Matt.
They're against someone that's not Ryback's.
Yes, they're facing someone that's not those guys. Jesus. We've been saying I'm probably going to go back after this and find the last episode where we reviewed a match with the Rhodes Brothers that weren't facing against Ryback. So it's probably a good 15 episodes ago. Honestly, it must be.
It must be, yeah.
It's so long ago. I mean, we're thinking before Cody Rhodes threw in the towel as Cody Rhodes. I mean, they were facing Ryback all at that time as well.
Are you thinking before then?
Yeah, because they were facing each other. Obviously, that rivalry between them is what they had loads of matches against Ryback. So
yeah,
they kept losing.
That's why they kept losing, and as a result, that's why. Yeah,
and then they never wrestled for ages. If you remember, they were just having those mini annoying vignettes.
Yeah,
not even vignettes, just mini promos backstage, and then they came back and wrestled Ryback. So
yeah,
stupid.
I was like, okay,
that's it. So. The thing is with these guys is that they've been saying that they've been going for a cosmic key, and we guess that's probably the tag team titles. It's not a phenomenal match really between these guys. I would say I think they could do a lot more than what they did. The match was on a much slower pace than what you would expect. In fact, the fastest part came with Goldust, who is arguably the slowest of the four, even though he's not slow by any means, Goldust, but he definitely is the slowest of the four that's in there. But with the finish of this match, it takes the sting out of it a little bit, because Goldust and Stardust get the victory, and you think, well, when you beat the champions in a non-title match, you normally get a title match. So
so surely they have it.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
can only hope.
I personally think Usos against Goldust and Stardust can be a phenomenal match. So if that's the case, I'm all fine for them not giving us all of it here, and making us wait for the 4 to 5 star match if they can pull it off in that sense. And you know what? I'll take Goldust and Stardust going against anyone at this point, apart from Ryback also. Does Usos against Goldust and Stardust, does that excite you at all? Do you think they can have a match of that quality?
Yeah, I'd say it does seem more creditable. I think they can go. I think I think we can get a decent match out of them.
Yeah, definitely.
And quite happily.
You look at the, Goldust and Cody Rhodes had a phenomenal match. I think it's what was it? It can't be last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, last year at Battleground, and it was out of this world. Just phenomenal with the Shield. So we know they can go. Usos are just hot off the heels of having just some back-to-back brilliant matches against the Wyatt family.
Yep.
So if they can get something worked out, these guys can go great. I'm sure of it. Lana and Rusev are out. They're spewing just the same BS about Putin. They're not even changing it, not even trying to at this point. No. This brings out the curator of the Hall of Pain, Mr. Mark Henry, who's made his return recently. He says that he's never had a problem with people waving their flags in his country until these two jackasses did it. And that he's pissed off at the Russian flag being raised at SummerSlam.
That's it.
So this
in America, going on about how in America the Russian flag got raised. Ooh.
Yeah. Now this leads to a brawl with the two guys. Henry getting the better of him, getting the world's strongest slam. So this obviously leads to a Henry against Rusev rivalry. I think Henry's a good opponent for him at this point.
I think this one is good because it's sort of like we're now seeing Rusev in a sort of in a position where he's actually going to get overpowered.
Yes. So they're trying to build him up as this bit. They're trying to build him up. Not take this with a pinch of salt. I don't mean it fully. They're trying to build him up in roughly the same way as Lesnar, as this beast who cannot be beaten. They can't do that at the moment with Rusev because it takes years and years and years and years to get that sort of persona up. But that's what they're trying to do, and to have this foreign superpower, and everything along those lines. So to be able to display all of his abilities and to be able to beat someone that's stronger than him adds to that a little bit, I guess. So I think Henry's a good, and Henry can go on the mic. I mean, he's good on the mic. Can we all remember his fake retirement speech?
Yeah.
Jesus, that was.
I was awesome. He's good on the mic, and I was just thinking to myself, are you sure?
Yeah.
I think you've had one too many painkillers, but then suddenly just his retirement. Oh yeah.
He can, if he decides he wants to get good, man. He can go there. That was one of the best promos of that year. That retirement speech,
easily.
Good. So yeah, it's a good rivalry for these guys. Just a little note as well. Apparently, a lot of Americans were annoyed that at SummerSlam their flag hit the floor. I don't know if this is one of the reasons why JBL was freaking out in commentary as well. That Swagger was attacked, so the flag hit the floor. I don't understand why that's so much of an issue in America, to be honest. Do you know much about that at all?
I do. It does not. It's not necessarily an American thing. I think it's just a disrespecting the nation's flag.
Okay. Well,
when I did one time the cadets and all that lot, we had a similar rulings for the awards, the flag and that.
Yeah. I can understand. It's just that apparently some of them complained about it. It's a wrestling show, guys.
Yeah.
Nothing is sacred. So that's what I have to say about it anyway. I just thought maybe there was something there. I don't know too much about that anyway.
No, I don't know. I don't know of any sort of. I think other than it's a bit disrespectful because obviously it's your nation's flag.
Yeah. They showed an exclusive on the network. This is the original programming I'm interested in when it comes to the network. I don't know why they didn't state this earlier on the show. It was basically an original program that they've made for the network, exclusive on the network. And by exclusive, I don't mean WWE exclusive, I mean actual exclusive on the network. That highlights the road of all the former members of the Shield leading to SummerSlam, and it looked quite interesting. And that'll be the sort of programming.
It looked pretty good, yeah.
That's the sort of stuff I'm interested in. If WWE can do that at a more regular basis, I'll be interested in watching that original programming. That's the stuff that we want.
I mean, it's the thing. Like, if the network was around a bit sooner, then you'd have sort of. Oh, you did, didn't you? Like the Ultimate Warrior tribute, like the Daniel Bryan. This is how we got to Mania.
Yeah.
That's the programming that they need to capitalize on.
Yeah, that's the stuff that people want. The thing is, they haven't done nearly enough of that, and that's the main issue that they've had. That they've been relying too much on Legends House and Total Divas to be their only original programming, which isn't enough, for them to go.
One of which is an exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that sort of stuff, thumbs up. I'll be interested in watching that WWE. So more of that, please, especially when the network launches over here. Ambrose against Rollins. Here we go. I'm rubbing my hands. Here we go. In a Falls Count Anywhere match. That was the match.
The only thing I had. There's one thing I had a problem with this.
Okay.
What's the other stipulations? It was a Falls Count Anywhere.
It was a no DQ and a no holds barred.
What's the difference between a no holds barred and a no DQ?
Yeah, that's what we said earlier on. It was just there's no difference between them. There's
no difference between any of the match types. So it's literally same match. Just throw a couple of pins out.
Yeah, like no DQ and no holds barred are essentially the same. The only difference between them and Falls Count Anywhere is that in a no DQ match. Yeah, in no DQ match you still have to pin in the ring. So that's the only difference there. But between no holds barred and no disqualification, no, just silly, really.
Yeah.
They do this a lot.
As a result, it's like, well, they're gone for Falls Count anyway, so we'll do a couple of little bits. We'll do it at the ramp, and I'll do a bit in the crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe break the referee's hand, because I noticed every time the ref was making a count, it's just like, ah!
But would you want to slap your hand against the ramp? I wouldn't want to do that.
I fucking own it.
Yeah.
I would just 2, ah!
My hand. This is the match stipulation that we wanted, but as you said, we're not too annoyed because both matches were brilliant. We'll take both.
Yeah, regardless.
And it was a fairly brutal match, we have to say. Now, not nearly as brutal as Dean Ambrose's Moxley days in CZW, maybe, but I don't think they're going to be bringing out the meat carvers, the electric carvers on WWE television, at least. That's certainly not PG. A-holes and bitches. This match included kendo stick shots, one of which was while one of them was diving out of the ring, which looked savage. A powerbomb onto a pile of chairs, and
that looked amazing.
Yeah, Rollins proper got air on that to slam him down hard.
Do you know the one thing I noticed though?
Go on.
He nutsed himself.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
For in the good 2-3 minutes after that, he's rolling around or at least cupping, just oh, that really hurts.
Sometimes it happens, as McMahon says, it ain't ballet. In fact, it's one of the times that during you and me were wrestling. Funny enough, someone accidentally got dick shot. They got basically just stomped on their nuts during a battle royal. In a training match, no less, and sometimes you just can't get away with it.
I remember one in a live show where I was avoiding elimination and I rolled them over the rope.
Oh, wow.
That was painful.
Oh.
I was literally just no! But I can't, it's not my elimination, but I need to stop that so bad. And I literally just hiding in the corner, just no!
Oh, yeah. At least people aren't doing the spot nowadays where they get knocked off the top turnbuckle and the rope goes right up Nether Region Street, shall we say.
Oh, yeah.
But, and there was tables and stuff used in this match. They used a lot of stuff. and they went all out. You look at the roster for guys that could fully utilize a hardcore match like this. Ambrose has to be, if not near the top of the list. Considering his work before, like as we were saying.
Oh, it is like his body slam where he holds the chair.
Yes.
Already against the back of, where he held the chair already against the back of Rollins. So it's like no choice, dink.
Yeah. He has a great way as well when he's taking hits with that sort of stuff to make it look savage. I mean, he took like a reversal Irish whip into the corner where the chair is, and it looked like he just fucking hit it hard. Even though he didn't.
Probably did.
Yeah. he has you do that. You know, some of these people that have done hardcore matches in the past, which as we know he's done, there's pretty graphic pictures out there of the stuff he's done in the past.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube it. They have a way of making it seem more legitimate, and there was a lot of that in this match. They weren't afraid to really go all out for it.
I know, even just the points where it's just like, you had moments where like Ambrose is down and like Rollins is up with the kendo stick, and he's still just like, you wanted this, you lunatic, and it's just like, I love it.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Just like little brief moments in a match just to slow the pace down and just sell the story some more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole thing that's been doing great with this rivalry is that they've never once wavered. Once they've got them in the ring, once they've given these two guys the time, they've always delivered. There's not been a bad segment with these guys where it's not been where it's been down to the pair of them. There's been a few moments where I've disliked the rivalry at small moments, but that's down to the booking of it. It's not these guys. That's the fault.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant. These guys, I honestly did great, and this match was awesome as well. There was anyway, going to the end of the match. Ambrose has it won, much like he did at SummerSlam, until Kane breaks up the match. Ambrose, does the great crazy face thing. He just says, fair enough, I'll just fight the pair of you then. And he does pretty well for a while. Until he gets choke slammed onto the table, which doesn't break. And then he gets his face stamped into...
the thing is, when that table didn't break, I was just like, yeah. That's, yet again, the table hasn't... Oh, that's why they needed it.
Yeah.
No! Cinder blocks. Bastards.
Yeah. The curb stomp, which I am officially dubbing that they've gotten rid of the peace of mind tag with that. It's just a curb stomp now, that's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Stamped, obviously, Rollins using it here to stamp Ambrose's face into cinder blocks. A mental finish to a mental match, and it was good stuff. This is apparently
to the point for a Falls Count Anywhere match. The referee's just like, you've gone too far, ring the bell.
Yeah, that's it. I like these finishes where it's a little bit like, well, we know that this guy can't continue, so I'm just going to end the match here, I think that is a feasible way to end matches, honestly. I think, if you think that a guy's injured and it's like a match where pinfalls and like this is allowed, then you can end the match, along those lines. And it'd be right, because come on, you don't need to roll that guy over and pin him to know that he's fucked after that. It was a good little finish to that match. The storyline is apparently that Ambrose was taken away for medical treatment, but then he apparently ran out of the ambulance.
He escaped the ambulance. Yeah.
He's now on the loose. This is actually to write him off so he can go and film the movie he's planned to. I think he's going to be away at very least until the build up to this pay-per-view he's not going to be involved in, but then that does open him up for the Hell in a Cell, which you think might be...
I don't know, I've heard rumours he may be at Night of Champions.
I don't, apparently, as far as... I personally, I wouldn't want him to come back, yeah? The issue that I had...
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with you, I'll go with the Hell in a Cell build-up.
Yeah. The issue that I had when we talked about this at the extra episode is that I don't want this to last another month, but if you're writing Ambrose off for that entire month, it's a little bit more feasible. Because that way when he comes back, and he can come back as even more mentally deranged, and he's so like he just wanted to make Rollins' life hell, but now he wants to end Rollins' career after what he's done now, and there's no love lost between them. Then you do the blow-off match with the Cell. Tell me a better feud at the moment that feels more like a blood feud than this one. There isn't. It feels like a proper blood feud. These matches need to end.
I mean, especially considering if you write Ambrose off for what would essentially be
3 weeks.
If we say 2 weeks build up for Hell in a Cell, he'd be out for 6-7 weeks.
Maybe, I don't know. I think this pay-per-view is coming up a lot quicker than SummerSlam did, so it might be 3-4 weeks, and then they can bring it back.
What? Night of Champions? Night of Champions is 21st of September.
Oh, right, okay, so it'd be 4 weeks away.
Yeah.
So,
I reckon. I don't think we'll see him before. I don't think we'll actually see him before Night of Champions. I don't think we'll see him at Night of Champions.
No, we'll probably see him the Raw after Night of Champions, but it does ponder the question then, what do you do with Rollins after that?
Give him everything. So I'm just like, now Ambrose is out of the way, I'm free to be plan B sort of thing.
Yeah, let him get away with loads of shit now. You know, that you want Ambrose to get back. To stop him from doing all this stuff. So he gets away with everything, and you know,
stick him on like a winning streak and everything.
Yeah, exactly. That he's beating guys unfairly. That he gets loads of these opportunities to cash in, but he gets so confident. Maybe he just, well, you know, he's now Lesnar. You know, he probably doesn't want to cash in, as we said. But you know what I mean. If it was like a normal champion, you could have loads of times where he's teasing cashing in because he knows he can do it whenever he wants. He gets so confident, and then that's when you bring Ambrose back.
Yeah.
To do this. It can work. But if you're going to have if you want to build them up to Hell in a Cell and Ambrose is still around, then you can't get you can't get 2 months of that going while the two of them are still on the same show, because it just makes no sense, you know.
Yeah.
But if Ambrose is going to be gone for the next 4 weeks, that's okay to me to build up for Hell in a Cell. And do I want to see Ambrose and Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match? You're damn right. I want to see them in a Hell in a Cell.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh hell yes. So that is the end of the show. They ended it with that, with the cinder block stuff, which was pretty savage. A good Raw, I thought.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a good quality. In fact, it followed the sort of the trend with SummerSlam, where it didn't have too many. It didn't have like any matches that were horrendous by any means. That all of them were at least of a decent quality, and that obviously gives you a good backbone.
It's like the Raw after was a lot better than the Raw before.
Oh yeah, by far. The main event lived up to the potential of it. You know, it was brutal to the degree that we would expect from PG WWE. That's fine. Heyman had a brilliant mic time. Wyatt was great. There was a few other good matches that were good. The Paige and Natalya was a little bit of a sour taste, just because
so much potential in that match. Because even I've turned around, because when we were discussing like if we could rebuild the Divas division, we were just like, I'd love a Paige and Natalya match.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But you know, Paige is Natalya's not going anywhere, you know, and Paige is still got years and years and years left in her career. I'm sure we'll get a Natalya Paige 10-minute match. I hope so, really. So could still happen. So yeah, I give this Raw a thumbs up. It's worth watching.
Definitely.
And if it's just to catch that match of the week, Ambrose against Rollins, these guys are doing great work. Really entertaining. But still, that being said, it does make us wonder where the direction is with a lot of these guys that they've got on their books. It just seems like now, after SummerSlam's finished, don't have the same headache that you had after WrestleMania, because that was a really bad time. You know.
Well, the funk.
The big. It was almost like they're having a hangover from the partying the night before. They just couldn't get over it for some reason. They just had an awful couple of months of booking and stuff. Even though they brought back Evolution, it just wasn't that great. So now to move on to our final segment of the show, where we call "We Were Wrong, We Were Damn Wrong," which is a little bit of a nod to Kurt Angle. Now we've done this once before. Basically, if you haven't caught it before, we go back and we play you a clip that we had talked about previously on the show, and we explain, obviously, that we got it wrong, and we explain, you know, why we thought what we thought back then, and whether or not it's, you know, we obviously go into the whole topic of it, you know, whether, you know, we believe that us, if we were right, would be better for whoever's involved and stuff like that. So the clip that we're playing here is literally the episode of Raw after WrestleMania. Remember this being the episode that had the Ultimate Warrior's final appearance before his passing the night the day after. It also was the day that Cesaro became a Paul Heyman guy. That he officially split from Coulter, and he become a fully fledged Paul Heyman guy. Awesome little bit here, where he actually announces it. The fans were so into it. Heyman coming down and taking his new man under his wing. I'm going to play you a clip now where we talk about this, and what we're essentially going to say here is how we thought this was going to bring Cesaro to the next level. So we're going to play you that clip now, and we'll take it away. Cesaro obviously won it, so he was introduced coming out by Hulk Hogan. As soon as Cesaro got into the ring, Hulk Hogan left. Cesaro did come out with Zeb Coulter, despite the fact that they had a little spat at WrestleMania, and Zeb essentially took the mic and kind of ran his mouth about Cesaro being one of his guys.
No. It's the fact that literally the moment the words left his mouth saying that he was a Zeb Coulter guy, it's like, oh, that's where it's going.
Yeah. If you put two and two together, I still love the way that this was delivered, and Cesaro did it great. He corrected him, said he wasn't a Zeb Coulter guy, he was a Paul Heyman guy. This triggered a huge cheer from the crowd. Paul Heyman comes out, and before really Heyman could say too much, Swagger comes down, attacks Cesaro, and breaks the trophy. He smashed it into pieces.
Yeah.
The Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy. So much for the huge, amazing trophy that they were saying, building up for before WrestleMania. Yeah. It's now
such great build quality.
It's now Andre the Giant with half of a leg. So that's essentially it now. Which even though it was destroyed, Heyman was clutching it quite close, as if it was the Undertaker's streak. He was clutching
the Undertaker's own last year.
All right, we're back from that clip now, and as you can hear there, me and Matt we had reservations, but we were more confident than nervous that this was going to bring Cesaro to bigger heights.
To allow someone like Paul Heyman to sort of take the mic,
Yeah, we were even talking about the fact that they could even eventually turn Cesaro face and he can go against Lesnar at SummerSlam, no less. That's what we were saying.
Yes.
We were wrong. We were damn wrong. Very, very wrong here. Obviously, as you know now, it's not the case. I mean, they've split from each other now. The whole Cesaro-Heyman pairing has just not worked at all. In fact, it has damaged Cesaro to the point now he's got no momentum, none at all. And we were looking into going into WrestleMania. The guy was really hot. He was he looked like he was going to good places. He was having fantastic matches. Now he's not having good matches because he's not given the time anymore. It's a big fall for grace for Cesaro. It looks like he's been lost in the shuffle, which is a shame because this guy could do amazing stuff in the ring.
I think that's partly why we were just thinking, because we were just thinking like at the point, like Cesaro was on such a rise, and it's like he's like such a crowd favourite and all of these things, and Heyman's so amazing on the mic, so how can this not go wrong?
Yeah, it was a match. It was a match made in heaven, wasn't it?
Yeah, it went terribly wrong.
Yeah. Now the issue is what happens is that we don't blame Heyman much for this. It was more on the lines of they didn't give Cesaro enough direction after WrestleMania. So it didn't matter who he was paired up with. There was an air of uncertainty. We've seen Heyman with Axel and Ryback essentially having the same fate with Heyman. And Cesaro now is put in the same bracket. These guys are guys that Heyman did nothing for. In fact, the pairing damaged said people. And it is a shame because Heyman now has got a bit of an air around him that if he's not doing anything apart from Brock Lesnar, and you can say, well, he did good stuff with CM Punk, but CM Punk was already a main event star at that point. He didn't need Heyman. You know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
That if he's not with Lesnar, then he's not going to do anything good for you. And he's got that air of uncertainty around him on that fact. But yeah, as you said, it seemed like a match made in heaven. You've got the in-ring skills of Cesaro, who can get really good fan responses, and you've got the words of Heyman. That's exactly what managers are made for, to get these guys that have got such great in-ring talent, but maybe not so good on the mic, and do all the talking for them. Just never turned out that way, and it's a real shame. I mean, think how good it would have been if our plan had gone ahead, if Cesaro had been really hot for all this time, but the seeds of discontent were there, and he decides that he's going to split from Heyman. Heyman says, "You're not going to split with me. I'll set my monster on you." And then you've got Cesaro against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Yeah, could have worked.
It could have worked.
No.
It's a shame because we like Cesaro, and it just looks like they've got absolutely no stock in the guy whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is,
We like Cesaro, and it just really disappoints us, the fact that they're suddenly just like, this is going nowhere for him.
Yeah. I mean, people are saying, oh, they stopped him from using the swing and stuff like that because he was getting too much of a response. I think it's a numerous few things. One, they didn't give him any big rivalries. They didn't put him in any sort of like championship opportunities with the belt, which they didn't have to, but I mean, that's part of the reason as well. The theme that they eventually gave him was horrendous, and it still is horrendous. They managed to make it worse, as we said earlier on. And how could Heyman get Cesaro to the next level when he was being told you have to remind people that Brock Lesnar broke the streak? How many times did we see in Cesaro's matches Heyman not even speaking a word about the guy? It was all about Lesnar. And it's a shame because he should have been spending a lot of that time talking about how good Cesaro was, the king of swing.
Yeah.
The Swiss Superman.
And all these other nice things that everyone would say about him, and then suddenly just like, and nothing.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I would go as far to say that they had so little direction that they had for the guy that half the reason why he had some of his matches towards the end of his pairing with Heyman was simply just to get Heyman out there so he could say the stuff that he wants
just
to.
Just to do the 21-1, yeah.
Yeah, which is sad of the guy, but I wouldn't put it past WWE to think that way, unfortunately. Do you think Cesaro... Let's go 12 months down the line. Do you think Cesaro's still got the chance to be that star that he can be?
I'd like to think so. At least he'll be... Well, I don't think he will be, but he'll be in a better place than he is today.
Yeah, he can't get much worse, really.
That's it. I think sort of with the matches that he's had so far this year, I mean, the two of them that he's had against John Cena, I think they're good. They're matches to go of his capabilities.
Yeah.
And to look at the the match he had with Sami Zayn in NXT TakeOver.
Yeah. Which was 5 stars. Awesome match.
Easily, yeah. Such a 5-star match. So already he's got good matches for this year under his belt.
Yeah. And do you think
it's just as a proof, as sort of evidence to sort of go, well, he can go.
Yeah.
We just need to get him in a position where he can go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the things that I'm excited for if they do bring Zayn up is that they can have that match on the main roster, and it would be awesome. And it would give the.
And you know what? I don't think they would. I think they'd be stupid.
I hate to say it, but I'm inclined to agree with you. I think that WWE will probably want to go in a different direction with Zayn, and they may have they might have one odd match with each other, but they're not going to have like a big feud or anything along those lines, you know.
That's it. I mean, their feud that led up to the whole NXT was essentially the young one seeking the respect of the veteran.
Yeah.
They're not going to get that.
No. And there's no point recycling the same thing, but these two guys could do some 5-star pay-per-view match-worthy work for you, night in, night out.
Definitely.
But the rumours obviously going around that Zayn, they want to keep Zayn, Neville, a lot of these guys still in NXT because they want NXT to be strong because it's a calling card for the the network. And you look at how they've brought up some of the guys, like Bo Dallas now, they've already given up on him. There's an air about wrestling fans
giving up on him.
Yeah. Do we really want some of these guys that we love to go onto the main roster? Do we really want them to? Yeah, Shield, Wyatt's, yeah. But still, there's a long list of guys that they've brought up that they've done little with, so it could go either way. I just don't. I think that when it comes to Sami Zayn, he's one of these guys as well that's going to give you the match of the nights, but do WWE see him as a star? I don't know, and I think it's WWE's idiocy that kind of puts them in that situation where they don't have multiple stars in their company because they won't put guys like Cesaro and Sami Zayn in those situations because they deem them as boring.
Like now that they're just going to keep NXT as sort of like WWE's indies. Now that they've got like Devitt and Steen and people like that in there.
Did see a picture today with Devitt using his face paint.
I saw that as well with the Punisher skull.
Oh, very, very good. Hopefully more of that, because I tell you that now, if he uses that face paint, that's going to make him instantly more unique than 95% of that roster. So
that's it.
There we And it's awesome stuff. The glow-in-the-dark paints, use that at a pay-per-view, guy. It's made for that. Made for that. Can you imagine him coming out of Mania with a neon stuff? Oh, awesome.
That's it. It would be great.
Alright, guys. I think we are done here. A lengthy podcast for you guys, because we love you. We love you guys.
That's it.
I'm parched. I need to go get a drink. And we've talked a lot about...
the old throat is dry.
Exactly. But good episode here for you guys to enjoy. I hope you guys did enjoy the episode here. If you did enjoy the episode, then subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you've been with us, continue supporting the channel. You guys are doing great. Honestly, me and Matt are blown apart by the way that you guys are supporting us week in, week out. Sure. You can tweet us on at TalkWrestlePod. Matt, as I said there, he tweets quite funny stuff off one of the times. I'll catch that on there. It's good stuff. And he'll catch a lot of the videos and stuff that I normally won't. That's why he's in control of the Twitter stuff, because I'm just not very good at that stuff. So that's it. I just don't know what these all hashtags and stuff are about. I guess I'm getting older. Man, that makes me feel old. Jesus.
Dude, I'm older than you.
But mentally older, maybe. You know? You're. I don't know what you're saying. You're not. You don't have an age. You're just part of the. You're a computer being, aren't you? That's what it is.
Well, I'm as old as computers.
Oh, well, there you are.
So I'm older than you.
Oh, there you go. Catch us again there next week. We will have a wrestling topic which we haven't had in a while. Haven't decided what it's going to be. Let us know if you've got any questions or maybe wrestling topics that you'd like us to talk about. We'll very much take them on edge, take them on in consideration in regards to going forward from there. But I'm procrastinating. I'm going to let you guys get back to your stuff. Thanks a lot here for listening to the podcast, and we'll catch you again next week.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot now. Bye bye.